work for Usikimye. Usikimye is an organization that started in 2019. It is based in Soweto, in Kayole, because there are many Sowetos, but we answer calls all over the country. It's an organization that works towards ending the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence in Kenya. The motivation to start Usikimye was led by the death of Dr. Ivy Wangeshi in 2019. In April of 2019, Dr. Ivy Wangeshi was killed by Kinuthia, who traveled all the way from Thika to Eldoret and killed her. What happened after that was a social media victim blaming narrative, and memes were made, Katashoka, oh, you ate my fare, and things like that. And I think for me, it was the horror of seeing somebody has died and people are rejoicing. It was a crazy time. And so for us, we were like, myself and my co-founder, were like, how about we start teaching people what is femicide and how does femicide look and how does femicide actively, affect women? And in that year, we joined the march, Total Shutdown Kenya, to actually march against the lives of women that were lost in that year. So Usikimye started as an online platform to educate people about gender-based violence. And along the way, it changed and it became an organization to what it is today. The beneficiaries of Usikimye are mostly women and girls, although we do sometimes have cases that involve men and as well as boys. We have impacted a lot of people. If it comes to like serving food, we have served over 1.3 million plates of food in the 4 years we have been working. If it comes to serving women, we have rescued and been able to house well over 1,000 women. I believe our most inspiring success story would be, we have many, but let me focus on our feeding program. Our feeding program started off during the pandemic. What was happening is a lot of children were getting defiled. Defilement is when children are sexually abused, both boys and girls. And most of the cases are coming from Soweto. And we wanted to find out what was the commonalities in all of these cases. And so we found out that most of these children are being lured by food. And for us, it was quite upsetting. And so we thought, what if we actually gave the children food as a measure of protecting them? So we started the feeding program with 50 children. But right now we serve about 1,000 plates a day, between 800 to 1,000 plates a day. And this has ensured that, one, the children remain in school. Number two, it has addressed the sex for food pandemic, which is a problem by itself in most low-income places where children go out to look for food. Again, they're lured and molested. So it answers towards the gender-based violence. And number three, it has also answered to children going out to borrow and beg for money for food, where they also get, again, molested. So I believe this is a success story because where we were receiving 5 cases a day, we now receive about 2 cases a month. So we are really happy about the success of this feeding program. The challenges we are facing this initiative, would have to say, is funding. Because most of the things we do, we do a lot of service delivery, and service delivery actually involves having a lot of money. You find like you need to feed children, you need money to buy the food. We are running safe houses. You need to be able to pay rent and pay staff, and also feed the people there, pay the therapists who are able to see the survivors in those safe houses. Reintegrating the women back into society also requires money. So you find that one of the challenges has been funding, and also reintegrating women back once women have been in violent situations, getting them back from the safety of the safe house back into community, and also being able to try and provide for them a livelihood if they are not to go back into their situation of violence. When you think about the work that we do, one of the things, and it has been amazing, has been the support from the Kenyan public. We have to say that when we ask, Kenyan public has shown up for us. And how do I mean? In both kind and in-kind donation as well as monetary donations. When we rescue somebody and we ask the community, people do send us money, as well as we have been able to furnish our safe houses and even been able to rescue women and put them in safe spaces through the public, as well as being able to write grants. We run a women empowerment program that is very impactful to the community, especially in the low-income areas, where we have integrated both mental health as well as running a program called Inua Mama Chama. So what has happened is, in the mental health program, you see a lot of times the women in low-income places do not get to access services of therapy. So one of the things we do is we have been able to do a curriculum that targets these women, and then they're able to come to the office and talk in groups. So we decided just not to have just the mental health therapy, but also involve a resilience program that involves saving and internal lending. So we have 400 women in what in Kenya we call chamas. So what they do is they come together, they're able to raise a kitty, and we're able to match that kitty. And from that kitty, they're able to borrow and lend within themselves and open small businesses that are able to give them food and give them some sort of security, as well as a little bit of savings. So that has been amazing. I believe that Usikimye inspires inclusion in so many ways. First of all, we work with women and girls, especially those ones that come from disadvantaged backgrounds. So we look at what is it that you need, then we are able to answer that. Being community-led means some of the things we'll see, like for example, we have been trying to do urban gardening. Urban gardening means small things. What do you have in your house? You do have a sack, right? You have ashes. You have, when you cook tea, the leftover tea leaves. When you peel your potatoes, what happens to all of that? We bring that together into that sack, and in that sack, we're able to give you seedlings, and you're able to plant things like spinach, things like sukuma wiki, things like tomatoes. And from this, if you're going out, let's say as a mama fu, as a dobe woman, you're going out and looking for money for that day, you're able to go to your small urban garden, which you grow on top of your roof, remove it, remove your skuma, bring the money in, and you're able to have a meal for your family. And I believe that is what inclusion looks like.